Chapter 27. Lord Glory then led us to another more residential part of the market, but some shops were still around. Finally, we ended up in front of a house seemingly buried under a small hill. Jake of Earth, you will have 15 minutes to choose your restitution, as I am a busy man, you understand. The warden of the Fey Market spoke as he checked a silver pocket watch he pulled out of his pocket. Very well, I will do my best not to waste your time, I said as Snout the goblin-like creature opened up the door to his burrow while looking completely miserable. As I walked into the burrow, I saw the entire place was a complete mess, but thankfully I firmly recalled the small ornamental vase the mundane stone was within, so I was able to find it without any issues. But to not make it look like I came explicitly for that, I ruffled through Snout's collection and found some interesting, enchanted stuff. I will take this ring for one, I announced as I took a ring that would protect my mind from lower-level glamours and some magical forms of mind control according to Glory. Granted, I may be immune to more biological forms of mind control like the Martians' methods, but in this DC universe taking every precaution against such stuff was an obvious choice, and in the scenario that I have no need of it, I can always gift it to Superman for major brownie points, as that poor bastard is the choice target for most mind controllers. For the second item, I was torn between a mirror that could force the true form of someone onto themselves and was curious how it would affect my hollow form, and if it would make me an errand car. But in the end, I settled for the safer belt of Hercules that had the god of strength's blessing and would double my natural strength and durability. Finally, as though pulling me to it, I naturally walked to the container, and with a loud hiss as I broke the seal of the vase, a kaleidoscope of light escaped from the vase as I gently pulled out the mundane egg. The mundane egg was a solid rainbow of ethereal lights similar to the aurora borealis, in the same shape of a slightly larger chicken egg. A mundane egg. Glory whispered in awe before he looked down to Snout, who was beside him. I believe the last of those eggs had long hatched into new worlds. Little Snout, when I deem ready to return your mouth, we will be discussing this at great length. He said casually, but from the way Snout shivered I realized such a talk was going to be quite painful for the lesser Fae. I believe fate has shown the best I can get out of this burrow, I said as I securely buried the mundane egg into my pocket. Lord Glory nodded firmly to my observation. Should something better than a mundane egg be within this burrow, I would likely offer to trade for such a treasure in any case. Either way, our business is concluded, and Jake, I highly suggest you do what you will with that mundane egg soon, or better yet take it back to Earth lest you be swarmed by beings desperate to use that treasure for their own goals. Lord Glory warned me before. With a blink I was out of Snout's burrow and in the middle of the Fey paths again, with Lord Glory and Snout nowhere in sight. Well, I came here for training, and absorbing this mundane egg will take a bit, I muttered as I shook away the thought of returning back to Earth as I continued to walk past the thick fog-covered forests surrounding me before I started walking with only thoughts of a peaceful place filling my mind. After a great deal of walking, the fog surrounding the path thickened greatly before finally thinning out, and I reached a destination I was happy with. As far as the eye could see was a beach bank slopping down from the path, and at the end of the beach was an ocean of purple water gently lapping at the pure white untouched sand beach. I suppose a beach works, I muttered as I stepped off the path, approached the edge of the beach, and stood in front of the water. Let's do a quick test to make sure this isn't some kind of super acid or something, I muttered softly as I kneeled in the ultrasoft white sand beneath me and stuck a finger into the warm ocean of purple fluids. Well, that was anticlimactic, I muttered unsurely, as obviously the water was purple for a reason, and it wasn't some weird light reflection, as the sky above me was perfectly normal blue skies with the sun right above my head, with the only weird distortions being the oddly very well-defined animal-shaped clouds chasing one another. But the water did nothing to me, so I gave up on that and just walked a bit further up the beach and took off my haori and laid it upon the beach as a sort of blanket, so I didn't get sand on the rest of my clothes. And with the soft sounds of the lapping waves filling my ears, I lay down. I looked up into the sky and noticed how the very detailed cloud shapes were going about their business, with rabbits seemingly eating grass-shaped clumps of plants. Bird-shaped clouds, flying around doing their own thing, and I realized this was definitely one of the calmest and most relaxing places I had been, once I settled down. Well, let's do this, I muttered as I took the mundane egg that grew as it subconsciously felt my desires before it became larger than an ostrich egg, as the metaphysical egg like a water balloon stretched over my head as I lowered it over the crown of bones atop my head. But once the kaleidoscope of solid aurora borealis lights covered my eyes and all I could see was the rainbow of soft lights, I could hear a soft humming in my head that despite how much I was focused I still was lulled into a stupor. I could barely understand what was happening, but even as the egg's nascent consciousness brushed up against mine, I could feel and instinctively understand its questioning flashes of light and audible hums. The voice was in its own way asking, "What tale shall we create?" I myself was lost in that very question, as my tale so far here in DC was just sitting around in Mount Justice while waiting for a new mission, as I couldn't fit in with the rest of humanity as a hero. I wanted desperately to be a hero, not entirely for some altruistic reason of wanting to do the right thing like some Spider-Man motto of those having power should use it responsibly and to help others. No, the biggest reason I wanted to be a hero was to cling to the humanity I had and to exemplify that. The greatest joy I had so far in this new life was traveling around the world, and even this trip in fairyland, as I was unfettered by the morality I was keeping to fit in with Justice League and could allow my hollow instincts free to rip and tear anything that stood in my path if necessary. You wish to live a tale of freedom and friendship unbound by morality? The mundane egg seemed to convey, and my own mind conjured up images of being able to go to a Pizza Hut buffet with the rest of the team and just devour food while laughing with my new friends. A worthy desire. The mundane egg seemed to convey before it burned white hot, and I felt it seemingly burning away the crest of bones that was my hollow mask, but the pain was smoothed away as the mundane egg stretched even further to encase my whole body, becoming a massive egg that encased my body as the Aurora Borealis lights took over my body and began reforming it with its reality birthing abilities.